welcome to the third video for Black History Month from the McBride and District Public Library. This week I'm talking about David Chariandy's novel, Brother. This is not a book that is like the other ones I've been talking about, set during the time of slavery, but it is interested in legacies of slavery, namely inequality and racism. So David Chariandy is a Canadian writer, and this book is set in Ontario. It's set in what I would pronounce Scarborough, but I'm pretty sure you say it differently. And it's a story of the love that exists between brothers. It's set in 1991, and it follows the fortunes of two brothers, Francis and Michael. I've got to be careful not to give you any spoilers, but it is a poetic, beautiful, and intensely moving story of their lives, of their relationship, and their relationship with their mother as they grow up at this time in the 1990s. I'm not going to read the very start, but I just want to read a little section just so you can hear the poetry that Chariandy has managed to capture in this novel. Okay. Francis was my older brother. His was a name a toughened kid might boast of knowing, or a name a parent might pronounce in warning. But before all of this, he was the shoulder pressed against me, bare and warm, that body always just a skin away. Our mother had come from Trinidad, in what parents of her generation called the West Indies. It was a place that Francis and I, both born and raised here in Canada, had visited once and could recognise vaguely in words and sounds and tastes. It was a place that accounted for the presence in our house of certain drinks like Moby and Sorrel, and also the inexplicably named pear-drax, which Francis had once fooled me into believing was bathroom cleanser. Somehow we felt that the West Indies made sense of other equally strange objects in our home, like the snow globe of Niagara Falls, or the lurking threat of Anne Murray's Snowbird 45. It was a place populated by relatives we had only met briefly, who existed now in old black and white photographs, ghostly images that were supposed to explain our eyes and ways of smiling, our hair and bones. There was another old photograph in the house, one that Francis discovered when we were small, shelved secretly in Mother's bedroom cupboard. It showed a man with a moustache groomed so carefully it looked painted on. He wore a thin, light-coloured jacket, the open collar of his shirt slightly kinked up. Old words like suave and debonair came to mind, or at least they do now. This man was our father, who was also from the West Indies and who now lived somewhere in the city, although he had left our home when Francis was 3 and I was only 2. The photograph wasn't perfectly focused, and I remember Francis and me as children looking hard into the blur of the man's face for something recognisable. His skin was much darker than Mother's, but we had been told that he was not black like her, but something called Indian, although this identity seemed lost in the poorness of the photograph, or in the trowel-thick application of Brill cream in his hair, as artificial as the black snap-on do of Lego Man. And I think you can hear from that extract as well the sense of nostalgia, of love and humour that Chariandy weaves so beautifully in this novel. We have it here, McBride Library. Give it a read. Let me know what you think. Thanks.